All right, welcome back. I hope you're having an awesome time so far. Our next speaker is Michael Hughes, the Chief Revenue Officer at ChargePoint. Please join me in welcoming Michael to our virtual stage.
Hi, thanks, Patrika. Hello, attendees of RETCON. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're surviving in the virtual world and learning a bunch through the course of this conference. I'm excited to spend a little bit of time with you. Again, it's Michael Hughes. I'm going to walk you through a few different things, basically introduce you to ChargePoint a little bit, but really talk about the opportunity that exists within your businesses to take advantage of the pending revolution, if you will, of electric vehicles that are hitting the road that we're reading all about every day. So I will take you through that. I will begin sharing my slides and allow me to get through the discussion. So let me now escape this and go right to the beginning. Sorry. So I'm here to tell you the electric revolution is here. And I'll just describe that in simple terms, right? What is happening in this marketplace? As I spend time talking to folks, most folks agree that no industry will change more than mobility over the next 5, 10, or even 30 years. And it's being driven by a variety of factors. Governments are mandating emissions limits or emission-free vehicles. The OEMs are producing vehicles at a prodigious rate and really committing billions of dollars to producing the next generation of electric vehicles. Many, like GM and Volvo and others, committing to be fully electric very soon. And then consumers are getting choice. As a result of these OEMs producing vehicles, consumers are getting more and more choice in choosing electric. And in general, once somebody goes electric, they tend not to go back. It's a better experience. They don't spend time at gas stations. The drive is smooth and clean, and it feels good. So in general, all three things are converging to make an industry, mobility, that will change more over the next 5, 10, or 30 years than any other industry. And just in context, think about the parking lot that's in your condo or your apartment complex or wherever it might be. In many cases, half of those vehicles that are in that parking lot today will be electric in a few short years. So an electric vehicle charges where it parks. Doesn't go to charge, it charges where it parks. And since we spend most of our time either at the home or the office, those are the two biggest places where people fuel. In fact, 92% of fuel occurs at one of those two places, home or office. So it's coming. And there's three different modes to what's happening now. We're seeing shared transport. So this is Ubers, buses, all of those kinds of things, electrifying. Buses have been there, and we're seeing more and more of them. And now Ubers and Lyfts and all of the other taxi services are electrifying. People, again, as I mentioned, increasingly choosing electric vehicles as their form of personal transportation. And then all those vehicles that have been keeping us alive during COVID by delivering the goods and services we need to our homes and between businesses are electrifying as well. And so we saw the F-150 announcement the other day. Nearly half of Ford's business in the F-150 piece of the business is for fleets. And so in many ways, we're going to see a very rapid evolution from combustion engine to electric within those fleet markets as well. So that's what's happening is in those three different sections. And then what we're trying to do is really be the fueling network that enables all of that. So allowing the drivers, the charging stations, and the systems in between to support and enable each other so that it's a seamless transition, making it better than gas, not something that you have to say, oh, I took a few steps back or I missed some things about it. So that's what we're trying to do. And then from your perspective, what does it all mean? And why do people put in EV charging? Well, it does a few different things. It attracts and retains tenants. That's the biggest one, right? It's an amenity that you can offer that can drive up what you can offer, what you can charge for rent in some cases, but retain clients. As the quote below from Aventino talks about, to an electric vehicle driver, having charging at their home is mission critical, right? It allows them to choose the property where they're going to live because it's going to have the services that they require. Charging, again, 92% of it happens at home or the office. If they don't have it at the office, they need it at their home. So it allows you to differentiate your business. And then There's really a couple of models that are enabled through electric vehicle charging and through our services. One is the personal model, which says, hey, look, I'm going to have a charging station at my deeded spot or specifically for me. And then there's community charging, right? Where you're going to have charging for folks to use within the facility. It's shared. In that case, you probably want to notify them, hey, you're fully charged, time to share the charging station with somebody else. Has a different set of requirements. What's common to both models is you need to have access control. You need to know who is charging. You need to set pricing policies that allow people to allow you to set the pricing that allows you to drive the right behavior, recoup your costs, all of those things. And then you need to configure it to whatever is required, meaning where you want it in the facility, the type of charging you want to have. And then finally, you need to have driver support. You don't want to be in the business, I don't think, of becoming an expert in supporting the drivers. I don't know how to access it. I don't know what to do. What happened next? Is it working? All of those kinds of things. So this is what multifamily can be and the model that can be that is enabled. Here, I'm drilling down a little bit into those two models, the personal charging and the community charging. And you can see if you have shared parking spaces, if you have a valet service, you have mixed use areas, community charging is going to make a lot of sense. And there's a shared charger, and then drivers just take turns using that charger. In this model, the property pays for the annual network plan and then charges the drivers appropriately. Personal charging, the driver's paying for the monthly service and they have a dedicated charger for their own spot. Again, when you have assigned parking spots or deeded spots is the case where that works. One of the things that we'll do to help that model is most of the electric vehicle drivers today will use the ChargePoint app. It's how we as electric vehicle drivers find locations that have charging, authenticate to the charger, understand our usage patterns and how much we're charging and what that costs us, all of those things. So instead of using our eyes as our searching device and finding a gas station, we use the phone. And the phone tells us where the charging is and what the rates are and so forth. So this charging app ensures a positive experience and a simple experience for your drivers. Most of them are already used to it today, and then they'll leverage it going forward. On your side, on the property owner side or the property management side, there's a wealth of data that allows you to customize the service to your tenants, right? So everything from how much are my stations being used? Who are the drivers on those stations? How much power are they consuming? How many sessions of charging each day are being taken? How long do those sessions last? And how much energy is consumed? And so you can manage the energy across the stations to make sure that you're not overpaying for an amenity that you're offering to your tenants. So there's tons of resources out there to support and enable this that will tell you. The RCLCO paper in particular that's listed here goes through a number of studies, surveyed a number of property owners about the services they provide, what the benefits they see in rent, in customer and tenant experience, all of those things. And then a variety of other resources to help take you through that journey and understand what might be right for you. And ChargePoint's there to help, right? So working with ChargePoint will help design where you should put charging, think about what the customers might want to have in terms of speed of charging, whether it's personal or common area. We'll design all that with you, make sure that you get what you need to service your customers. And based upon that hundreds of thousands of stations out there, we have a pretty decent idea of what's going to work and what's not. So we can help you through that process. And then finally, I'll just say, the charge is out there, right? The vehicles are coming. They're going to get increasingly servicing every sector. Today, it's reasonably expensive cars, $50,000 and above are electric. But tomorrow, as battery costs drop, it will be all segments, $30,000 cars, $40,000 cars, everything in between. And so you will see for all of your consumers, whether you have a high-end facility or something more in the middle, all of those drivers will have access to a set of vehicles that they don't have today, and then they will continuously grow the share in your facility and the demand for parking spaces that have electric. And we can help you, right? So we can assess what you're doing, what the facility looks like, walk it with you and understand whether you have to upgrade the power panel to make sure that things are taken care of. any new developments, tech specs, and best practices. So we'll enable all that stuff, help you install, configure, and manage, and then allow us to take care of the hard work and allow you to provide a great service to your customers, your tenants. So that's the story. We'd love to help with all of you along this journey. It's coming. It's coming fast. The electric revolution is happening. I see it on the inside, but increasingly we're going to see it on the outside. So thanks so much for your time. Appreciate spending a few minutes with you. Thanks and have a great day.
Wow, thank you, Michael. This has been awesome. If you could stop sharing your screen, I know this virtual audience wants to give you a huge virtual round of applause.
Yes. Golf clap, please. Golf clap.
Yes. Thank you so much for sharing with us today. For
You
the
got it.
audience, it's time for you to make your way to your next session. Along the way, make sure you accept your connection request and take some time to check out our amazing exhibits. Thanks so much, and we'll see you around.